All right. Cool. Hopefully my video recording software doesn't explode. It said something about a software update being in progress, so maybe my my computer's going to pop up a little dialog box soon saying I have new software updates, but we'll find out. All right. Where did we leave off yesterday? We were in the midst of making some servlets. So we spent a good amount of time yesterday talking about model view controller. What was the main rationale again behind MVC? Why is MVC considered a good architectural style?
Separation of business logic and presentation sense.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, separation of concerns, right? And it just, that separation of concerns is always nice to talk about, but it's like, it's in this case, it's really good to just be able to see, like, well, okay, contact list, for example. It's good to be able to see that the presentation itself is almost mindlessly simple. We just refer to a few variables and that's it, right? So it's nice to not have to worry about any really sophisticated templating. And then, of course, on the other side, on the Java side, it's nice to not have to worry about templating at all. Right. Okay. So we've got some servlets, and what we were trying to do was just sort of flesh out a UI for full, create, update, delete sort of interface for our contacts in our address book, right? So we had a mechanism for displaying a list of all of our contacts, right? Let's make a quick list. List all contacts, add a contact, and that's it so far, right? All contact names, right? Add a contact, and to do, we also need edit a contact, delete a contact, and actually probably I should view a contact, right? View the full information about a contact, including their address, right? So that's the work that we have yet to do, and I think we should probably tackle this one first, right? View a contact, because I think it'll be easy enough, right? Okay, now just again a refresher. We have, so this is sort of our to-do list here, right? We could also make a to-do list application, I guess. That'd be another good project to work on. Okay, so this is sort of the work that we have to do in terms of files that we've created to support this. What have we gotten so far? What are the servlets that we have so far?
Contact list, contact.
And what methods do they have? Contact servlet. Does contact servlet have? Contact servlet doesn't actually have a do-get yet, does it? Or it does. It has a do-get to display the add form. Right? Do-get displays the add contact view. Do post adds a contact. Right? Contact list servlet, what does that one have?
Only the do-get.
Just do-get, which displays the contact list view. Right? Right. And so we should only have two views, right? Because that's all that we've mentioned, right? Just add contact view. And I'm not going to call these servlets anymore. I'll call them controllers, because that's the terminology that we'll end up using, right? The views that we have are add contact and list all contacts. Right. Okay. So right, that reflects the work that we've done so far. What do we think that we need to do for view a contact?
Just to do that.
Do get where?
We could create another. To create the same, we can just pass a parameter for view.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we need so right now the do get for contact servlet checks to see if there's an add parameter. So we need else display the contact view, right? Make sense? So we'll just add some code to our existing do get.
Else if it's a view, right? Because we're going to have more functionality in it.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Else something. Yeah. But yeah, roughly, right? At least we're pretty sure that's the right place to put it. Yeah. Okay. How about for views then? We can't reuse any of these views, right? So we need a new one. We need a view contact. A view contact view. Right. Okay, so that's the work that we're going to have to do right now. Is just these two chunks. This chunk right here, and this chunk right here. But
One contact? Trying to view one contact?
yes, view a
Address
yeah.
and everything, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, with address and everything. Yep. Yeah, exactly. But before you set out to do that, I've actually checked in some updates to the project on GitHub. We don't strictly need the updates yet, but just to avoid getting out of sync, I'd like you to pull them. They're setting up for our Hibernate stuff later today. I checked in some Hibernate configuration. So please pull that to make sure that you're not that you don't have any merge issues. Okay.
So I did do a pull. That's okay, right?
Yeah. Just git pull is all you need to do. I've also, by the way, in the README in the top level directory, I've added links to the videos that we've recorded so far. All right. So git pull to update your stuff, and then you can get cracking on these chunks of code. All right. So here's how I'm gonna do this. You guys can follow along if you want. I think a lot of you were pretty much there. For my contact view, I'll basically just gonna copy and paste my add contact JSP because the structure will be similar. Call it view contact.jsp. If I wanted to be a little bit more organized about this, I would probably have like a subfolder for JSP/contacts/add and /view and stuff. I'll probably end up cleaning that up a little bit later on. All right, so view contact, right? View contact. Okay. So the name is not, like none of this is going to be a form, right? This doesn't have to be a form anymore at all. So name is contact.name, right? Yeah. Street address.street. And I mean, maybe we could do this a little bit differently, right? Let's actually say let's let's have the contact name be the header of the page. Right? And then their address I'll just put in a paragraph down here, I suppose. Or, let's do it like this. Let's put their street address here, and then we'll do city, state, and zip nicely formatted. Address.city, comma, address.state, address.zip, like that. What do you think? Is that reasonable? All right. So we'll call that the view, right? I can reference these variables multiple times. That's no problem, right? I can reference contact.name as many times as I need it. Doesn't go away or something. And remember this syntax, right? This EL syntax. So I just, if I want the contact name, I say contact.name or address.street or whatever. I don't have to say address.getStreet paren paren. Right? Very simple language. Okay, so that's my view. Let's go to the contact servlet. All right. So I had a nice little handy to-do block in my do-get for contact servlet, so that's good. Okay. So what do we need to do then? Yeah, we need to set attributes, right? We need to populate this model. Now, how do we know which contact we're looking at?
Some sort of input field.
Yeah, so we need we need the URL to be like contact ID equals something. Yeah. So we need to get a parameter, right? Well, basically we expect a parameter, and I'm not going to do any fancy error checking because feeling lazy. Long ID is equal to request, and what did you guys do for this? Was it something like this?
Yeah, get request parameter.
Get parameter.
View.
Oh, so you did like view equals something.
View.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right, that's fine. That's fine. Right. Request.parameter ID, but then that's a string, so we have to parse it. Yeah. So here we go. Long dot parse long, which can throw a number format exception, but once again, I don't think I really care very much. Okay. Okay, so that's how I get an ID, and then I need to actually look up in my repository the contact with that ID, right? So contact is equal to contact repository dot find ID. Okay, this once again can throw a SQL exception, so surround all this stuff with a big try catch. And what did we say here? Yeah, just repackage it again as a servlet exception. Yeah. So we also need the address. And what's that going to be? Yeah, contact.getAddress ID, right? So this is like we keep saying, right? This is our really sort of ghetto way of doing joins, right? We don't have a better way of doing it yet. We'd like, I mean, this is inefficient, right? We're issuing two requests, two queries to the database, whereas we could get this all in one if we just did a join. Okay, but this is what we're doing, right? So we do this block of stuff, and now what? How do we populate the model?
Set attribute.
Yeah, request.set attribute, I think. Yeah. Request set attribute contact, right? Contact. and oops. Right? Good. So we've got all the logic that we need. We've populated the model. Now, once again, how do we delegate to the view?
Dispatcher.
Yeah, we need the request dispatcher, right? Get request dispatcher for our JSP slash view contact.jsp, right? Dot forward request response.
Can you tell me what that forward does again?
So this tells the servlet container. What I want to be clear about is that this isn't some sort of an HTTP thing, right? Forward is different from redirect. We were using redirect before, which is like HTTP 304 or something like that. Forward is just internal to the servlet container. Forward says, okay, we're going to figure out how the servlet container handles URLs of this type, right? In other words, it's going to look up, anytime a request comes in to the servlet container, it has to figure out how to route that request, right? So how does it know how to route requests for /contact, for example? How does it know?
Servlet.
Yeah, this web servlet annotation, right? So the servlet container will look at all the things that are annotated with web servlet. It'll also look at all the things that are mentioned here in web.xml, right? These servlet mappings, right? So when we say get request dispatcher for a particular URL, this says, hey, figure out how to get me there. Figure out which object in the system is going to handle that request, and then simply pass on a request and response objects to that handler. Right. If this were
It's passing, it's forwarding it to the request dispatcher for that particular JSP.
Yeah, so it's telling the JSP servlet. JSPs are just servlets, right? JSPs are actually just compiled down on the fly into servlets at runtime. So this is basically passing the request and response objects here into the JSP servlets do get method. If we wanted to be, well, if our add contact JSP weren't a JSP, if we were forwarding to another servlet that we can actually reference by name, we wouldn't even have to do this request dispatcher stuff. We could just say, this, whatever other.doGet, and just call it directly by name like that, right? But this is because we can't do that, right? The JSP isn't actually compiled into a servlet yet. So, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So I think this will do what we want it to do. So let's actually do one more thing to kind of get us there, right? We've said that the URLs. Well, actually, sorry. We'll do two steps. Let's verify that what we have is working. I think it's. I'm like so brash. I'm like, oh, this obviously works. Let's move on to the next thing. All right. So let's instead of being like that, let's run it instead. Okay. Oops. Yoo-hoo. Really? Oh. Oh, that's not what I wanted. / contacts. Okay, so we've got our contact list. Add a contact. Let's. You can see I've been experimenting. Foo. There we go. Foo. All right. So foo has a link that doesn't go anywhere right now, right, in our contact list, but so that'll be the next thing. Contact question mark ID equals 0, I guess. Yay. Right. Okay. Then we can go back to the contact list from here. All right. So what's the obvious next step then? What was the thing that I was about to make us do before we even check this?
URL?
Add the link.
Yeah, add the link. Yeah, so we don't have to guess what the URL is. Right. So that's going to be an edit to our contact list view, right? All right. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Contact list.jsp. We've got this ahref equals question marks right now. So what should that look like?
ID equal
Contact question mark view equal to
Contact question mark ID equal to contact.id, right? All right. That's a little clumsy, but you know, okay. Call it okay for now. You guys all see this okay? In our contact list, we want to link up the contact. So let's just populate that URL with what we want it to be. Okay. So now all I need to do is just reload my contacts page, because these JSPs are recompiled on the fly. And so I should see a link here now, right? So this actually works. Hey, Enterprise Java, this is working. Now let's add another new contact. Tesla, yep. It's my dog. So he's in there. Okay. So this is all working. Yeah. All right, cool. Let's check this in, because I always like checking things in when they work. Git add source. Linked from. Oh, actually, there's one more thing. There's one more thing that I want to do. Before we commit this, right? When we add a new contact, maybe it makes sense actually to. Maybe it makes sense not to dump us out back to the contact list page. Maybe it makes more sense to put us on the contact view page for the one that we just added. Right? So instead of redirecting to the contact list page, we should redirect to the contact view. Yeah. So let's do that as well. Just one last quick change. Where was that redirect? How do we do that?
contact list server.
Contact.
List server.
No, this wasn't where we did contact adds.
Oh, that would be in the contact server.
Yeah, contact servlet, do post, right? So here's another thing that we notice. It's getting a little tough to keep these straight, right? And I'm actually going to start making a servlet pain points list, right? Right. This is the problem that we're starting to run into, is that for any given URL, you only have one servlet class that deals with it, and that servlet class can only have one do get and one do post and one, you know. So this API is a little bit clumsy to work with. So this is something to start kind of paying attention for. Right? All right. Okay, so do post. Do post, do post, do post. So we send redirect not to contact, but to which? Contact, question mark, ID equal contact.get ID. Right. Right, so when we create a new contact, we're gonna redirect immediately to its own view. So like, yeah, whatever. So add, and it goes directly to the view page, right? Yeah. All right. Then from there we can go back to the contact list. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Let's commit this now. All right. Added a view contact page. Yeah. Okay. So that's checked in for us now. All right. Any questions on what we've done so far?
The forward one, can you please explain once again?
The forward.
Yeah. From the request, you are getting the.
This request dispatcher forward thing.
Yeah. From the request, you are getting the request dispatcher, and you are attaching a JSP page to it. It's like a set giving it as a parameter.
Not exactly. This request dispatcher, we happen to get it from the request object, but it's not really related. The request dispatcher is a property of the system. It's a property of the servlet container. It's the thing that allows us to route requests inside the servlet container.
Okay.
So.
And then you are forwarding the request which you populated above, and the response object.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's as if, for example, if I'm in one servlet's doGet method, and I want another servlet's doGet method to handle it, I could just say, other servlet.doGet, right? I could just call the method. But in this case, since our JSPs, they are servlets, but they aren't compiled yet. They're compiled on the fly. I can't just call doGet, right? So I have to do a little bit more work. This is kind of what that's like. Does that make sense? So it says, basically we build up sort of a table when we're running our servlets, right? When we have this, web servlet annotation like this, or if we specify a servlet mapping here on our XML, we start to build up a table, a routing table. So so we know that this URL maps to this handler, and this URL maps to this handler, and so on and so forth. And so that's what the request dispatcher is. It basically is just in charge of that routing table, right? Okay. Cool. Let's go back to our to-do list, right? So we've now done view a contact. That is now done, right? We've implemented that. All right. So to do edit a contact. What's edit a contact going to look like? Right. This is our next big task. Somebody help me out.
Copy paste from view.
Yeah, copy paste from the view, right?
This is maybe this text box.
Yeah, it'll be fairly similar, right? First off, actually, what's the servlet situation going to be?
Else. Edit.
Yeah. So we have another doGet, right? Else if edit displays the edit contact view. Right, so that's the current thing. can see this starts to pile up, right? So we need to display the edit contact view, and then we also need, right? This is a form. This edit contact view is a form, so we need a post handler, right? So if add, then adds a contact and redirects to the contact list. Otherwise, what? If edit, edits contact. Right? Our contact servlet is starting to get serious. And then we need another view also, right? What Hamer said, yeah. So we needed an edit a contact view. Right. So there's 3 things we need to do to edit a contact. Right. We need a servlet handler that'll show us the contact edit page. We need a servlet handler that will actually edit the contact. Right. That's the action. Right. And we need the view. So that's the next assignment. Go for it. Okay. So it's been, because I've had probably about 10 or 15 minutes to crank on this. So let's see what we've got so far. I always, you've noticed, I always like to start from my views. Because if I start from my view, if I know sort of, I guess I'm kind of a visual person. So if I know what I want things to sort of look like, then that'll tell me what I need to put in the model to support it, right? And if I know what I need to put in the model, then that tells me what to put in the controller, right? So I sort of work backwards from the view, right? So what do we need? We need an edit contact page, right? Or is that what we're working on? Yeah, edit. Yeah. Okay, so probably the easiest thing is, I mean, this is going to be sort of a combination of the add contact form and the view contact thing, right? So maybe it's helpful. I'll just copy one and sort of merge stuff in from the other. So I'll say edit contact.jsp, right? Well, maybe I shouldn't have done it that way. Okay, let's do it a different way. Copy in from add contact. All right. So edit contact. We have to say edit contact. Edit contact. Okay. All right. So we have input, type equals text, name equals name, but then we can also pre-populate the fields, right? I mean that's really what we want. So value equals
Save.
contact.name, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right. These input fields will be pre-populated with their current values. Zip. All right. There might be.
Here's the problem. In our servlet, right? In the way we save it, right? We never save the ID for a contact.
Yeah. So we have this edit contact view, But part of the model needs to be the ID. Well, so we have the ID, right, as part of the contact.
Yeah, but you never save it.
But we need it to be
Set.
an input, yeah. So we need an actual, we need like a,
Hidden,
yeah, we need a hidden,
yeah.
exactly.
Well, not even this. I was talking about the backend in the model, right?
Hmm?
When we save it, right? We never set the ID, right, for the contact.
The database sets it.
But in this case, we don't want a new ID, right?
We don't want a new ID,
But we'll be calling the update method, right?
but we'll be calling update, yeah.
That should take care of it.
Yeah, so we'll be okay. Yeah. So we need two hidden inputs. One that says that the method is going to be edit, right? Or the action, or whatever we want to call it, right? It's going to be edit, not add. And we need to pass the contact ID so that we know which contact we're editing. Right, this is all stateless. This is a little bit RESTful-ish. Right, we're not using JSP session kind of stuff. Right, that would be a terrible idea. Right, so we have to pass the ID into the page so that the ID can be passed back to the handler. All right, so contact ID, name, and then address. Do we need the address ID?
No.
No, right, because the contact has it. Yeah. Okay, submit value equals edit. Right. All right, so that's our view. Good. So what's the model? Oh yeah, go ahead.
What's the type hidden name equal to edit be used?
This one. This is similar to, well, okay. Let's.
We had it before also.
Yeah, we did. So let's go and look at our contact servlet where this stuff is handled. Open this up. So we're in our do post, right? So right now, we actually have something that checks whether we have an add parameter.
Yeah, but that comes from the submit or from the hidden? There are
It comes from that hidden. Yeah.
But then even in the submit we say it's edit, right? That doesn't get used.
No, that's just the text on the label of the button. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So we've got this if here, right? If it's an add, then we do our add logic. Otherwise, if it's an edit, then we'll do our edit logic, right? Yeah. And then else, we can probably super.do post, right? Actually, I don't like something that I've done here, but this is not really a big deal. I want my try catch to be totally outside everything. All right. Okay. So what's our model? We should be able to see from the view. What data does the model need? Or what data does the view need? Yeah, just the same as before, right? Just the contact and the address. Yeah. So it's going to be very similar then. We need to, we need the ID, right? So we need a, we're going to do some good old-fashioned copy pasting, right? We're going to get the ID of the contact. We're going to find the contact. We're going to find the address. We're going to set the attributes, right? As a matter of fact, we could refactor this.
Keep it common.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, all of this, right? This logic that looks at the request parameter to find the contact ID, and then looks up the contact and the address, and then populates the model with the contact and the address. That's going to be common to both of these things, right? So refactor, extract method. You guys seen this before? Extract method. What do we want to call this? I don't actually know. Populate, well, model, let's see. Populate model from contact ID, I guess. I don't know.
Talking about long names.
Yeah, long names, exactly. Yeah, so it's kind of a crappy name, but this is what it is. So, okay, so we've got a populate model from contact ID method that we can now use down here.
The caption was under source.
Refactor. Refactor extract method. Populate model from contact ID. And then then it's slightly different, right? We need to update. Well, actually, oh no, I'm sorry. I totally lied. Because when we post, we're not doing MVC. When we post, when we're actually handling this, yeah. See, I'm doing the wrong thing. I shouldn't be posting right now. I shouldn't be dealing with the post. Sorry. Your instructor's a moron. So stand by. Everything will be just fine in a moment. Okay. Sorry, I got a little discombobulated. Right. We've got this edit a contact view. The first thing that we need to do is display the edit contact view, not handle the post. Right. That's what I need to be doing. So I don't necessarily need to refactor that into a separate method. I need to, let's see, get else. Here we go. All right, so here's all the common stuff, right? We populate this model, and then I just need to see whether, yeah, if it's an edit, then I need to display the edit page, or if it's just a view, then I display the view page, right? So if it's an edit, then we need to dispatch the request to the edit contact page. Right? Else, we dispatch the request to the view contact page. All right. I feel much better. In fact, I would feel way better if we had some comments in the code. And populate model with the contact and address objects, right? Dispatch either to the edit page or to the view page, right? So we're this is again getting twistier and twistier, right? Our do get is now handling three things, right? The more things we put in here, the less I like it. But again, this is what we are observing about the Circlet API, right? This is one of the things that we're going to solve with Spring MVC. Right. Okay. Okay. So So right, now we can handle post. Right. So if the request is an edit, then what do we need to do?
Fill up the contact.
Yeah, we need to. Yeah, so we need to.
Retrieve and fill the contact.
We need to do something like this. Right. We need to get the contact. Oh, no. Sorry.
Create a new contact.
Contact repository.
We need to get the existing contact.
Yeah, dot find.
Yeah. All right. I still need the ID. So I still need to.
This is a post, right?
Yeah.
Why do you need to get it from the repository? You need to get it from the form, right?
Yes, but you know what?
Yeah, you need to
No,
get
that's true. I could just create a completely new object. Yeah, I don't need to get the current one.
Yeah, you need to get it from the form.
I'm thinking Hibernate style. So that's an interesting point, right? In our current database model, we know that we're calling an update. So I can create a totally fresh object that has the ID that we know that we have, and just call update on that totally fresh object, right? We don't have any concept of managed entities or any crazy Hibernate stuff like that. When we start getting into Hibernate, it's going to become important to find the actual object that we need and modify that object.
So you're going to delete the old one?
No. We're going to modify we're going to find the object, modify it, and persist the changes. Yeah. Yeah. So that's an interesting. I hadn't even thought about it that way, but that's that's a fair point.
But I think you'll still need to get the contact information from the database, right?
No, because it's all coming from the form.
Okay.
So it's coming from the database here in the do get, where we populate the view. But then when we post from the view, the information that we need is all coming from the view. It's not coming from the database anymore. Yeah.
This is what we're going to do. We don't need anything in the view, right? We just need to set the ID. Rest everything is useless. No.
No. Yeah, we still yeah. Okay. Right. All right. So I still want to refactor this little chunk of code, but it's not clear to me how best to do it. Yeah, so what I'll do instead is copy and paste it. Yeah, so right. So we need the ID of the contact. We need to get the address for that contact, right? So we need to get those objects, and then what we need to do is actually repopulate the fields of the contact and the address from the request data. So we have to say contact.set name request.get parameter name, right? Sorry, name. Yeah. And then address.set street. You can see where this is going, right? Request.get parameter street. Right. And then we need to persist these changes, so we have to go back to the contact repository dot update contact and address repository dot update address, right? And then the last thing that we need to do finally is we need to redirect again. So we'll redirect back to back to our contact view page again, right? Right. There, some more code comments are probably in order, right?
It's a lot of work to get something done like that.
Yeah, it's quite a fair amount of work. Now, some of this work is just going to be necessary one way or the other. Hibernate will solve also some amount of the work also. So we'll see which parts of our problem Hibernate can solve and which parts of it can't. So I'm just going to do a little bit of code commenting again to keep ourselves not too confused. Because if I start feeling confused, that's a bad sign. Also, I've been teaching for a while now, and I'm very used to embarrassing myself in front of the class, but I still like to keep that to a relative minimum. All right, create. Let's see. Yeah. All right, this is starting to feel maybe a little bit better, and maybe if I just put a lot of white space, then I'll feel clean somehow. All right. Okay. The only thing that we have left to do from this point is some way of getting to that edit page. So how do we want to do that? Sort of. Again, this is kind of just subjective. This is what do you want it to look like?
Have a button in view contact.
Yeah, a button in view contact or a link in view contact. Yeah. Sure. So let's do that. View contact. So we've got a list, a link down here, back to contact list. So probably href equals. So what's our link going to look like?
Contact question view. Oh, edit equal to
Edit
contact.id.
ID is equal to contact ID. Yeah. Something like that, right? We've got two parameters that we're passing, right? We're passing the edit parameter, and then separately we're passing the ID. I think some of you had a different where they just edit equals, and that's fine too. Either way. Okay, let's see if this works. Oops. All right, so we've got Dan. Dan now has an edit contact link, so that's good. The link, if you look down at the bottom of the screen, the link is correct, right? Contact question edit ID equals 0. So that gets us to the right spot. It's populated with the correct information, and if I actually, oops, and if I view page source, right? Oh, wait a minute. I'm not in the right spot. Edit contact. View page source. So I've got my hidden input that says our ID. I've got all my correct fields pre-filled. Right? So if let's say I'm downstairs, I guess. All right, so now I'm downstairs. Yeah. Cool. I'm gonna check this in, and it'll be probably a good time for a break now. Yeah. Are there any questions about the code so far?
The request object in doPost method, does it also have get request dispatcher?
Yes.
Then why we didn't use that?
Yeah, good question. So he's asking, let's go back to our contact servlet. So the question was, here in our post handlers, why are we sending an HTTP redirect instead of using the request dispatcher to just forward? Let's talk about that, because that's a sort of a tricky question. What do you guys think?
It should have worked according to the plan.
Should work.
Yeah, it's like unnecessary one more HTTP request.
Maybe.
Are you reusing?
Well, here's one question. Here, let's say I edit this contact, change my zip code, hit edit. Now what happens if I reload?
You get the right one, the update.
Yeah. You can't see anything happening right now because my browser thing is. But this is refreshing. What would happen if I had just done a forward using the request dispatcher?
This page?
Yeah, if I did edit contact and make some change, hit edit, and now hit reload immediately.
Resubmit.
Yeah, it would try to resubmit. Yeah. Which isn't what I want. Yeah. Yeah, so I want to handle the post
But not
and then redirect and have the browser perform a get. Yeah, yeah. So this isn't for Java reasons. This is for web experience.
It would have worked, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it would have worked. Yeah, but this is for web user experience reasons, right? Yeah, that's partially. There's another more Java related reason why I'm redirecting. Why do you suppose? Well, here's a hint. When I say forward, I have to pass a request and a response, right? So what can you infer from that? Again, this is sort of tricky question.
Would it do the same thing as redirect?
What properties are on the request object? Like if I were to forward from here, if I were to get the request dispatcher for the view contact page, or in fact, since it's just a regular servlet, it's just this servlet. I could even just say do get, right? This dot do get request response, right? So what would happen? The same thing would happen here as would happen here with this get request dispatcher. Not necessarily error page. So let's say right now, let's walk through this, right? As a matter of fact, whatever. Let's run it because we can. Okay. So this I've made this change for. Go away. I know. So we've made this change for the add page. So let's do that, right? So go back to the contact list. Let's add a new contact. My dog again. So I'll add, and this time it's not going to do an HTTP redirect, right? It's going to call do get. What happened? Why am I back on the add page again?
Because in the do get you are putting the static page. It's not the populated one, right? Get request dispatcher, and there you are giving the JSP page.
You
So
mean the
that JSP
parameters?
page you are getting here.
It's the parameters are an issue.
Parameters are gone.
The parameter. Well, no.
No, they're the old parameters.
It's not that the parameters are gone. The problem is the parameters are here.
Here. Yeah.
Yeah.
The old ones.
Yeah, the old parameters, right? When we say, for our post request, we had this add parameter,
We need to do, I think, a set parameters.
and if we just do get with the same request, we still have this add parameter, which means we're going to see the add page again. We would have the same problem if we say, or I'm pretty sure we have the same problem if we say, request.get request. I can't type. Request dispatcher for contact. ID equals. Oh, there. This is what we need, right? What if, so if we do it like this, I'm expecting to see the same behavior. Yeah. Oh, even better. This isn't what I was expecting. It's even worse. Oh, and I actually know why.
There you go. The code.
Yeah. So this is even worse. Right. We're getting the request dispatcher for this URL, and we're forwarding the request to that.
He doesn't find the else.
No, that's not the issue.
No, that redirect.
The issue is that this is still a post. So it's calling do post recursively, and now if we were to go and look in our database, we would see that we have probably the max stack size worth of Teslas. Here, let's double check here, because I like my dog just that much. Let's check out our data. Yeah, that's a lot of Tesla. It's actually a surprisingly small number of him. Only 390 something. I thought the maximum stack depth was actually deeper than that, but whatever. Anyway, yeah. So a couple reasons, right? And that's a very good question that you asked. So I'm glad you did. The reason why we can't just call do get or call this request dispatcher is two reasons. One, we want good user experience, right? We want to be able to just get to a page and be able to hit reload and back and forward and all that kind of stuff, right? We don't want viewing the result of that edit or that add or whatever to result in another post being submitted. So that's one reason. And the other reason is because we've got a response we've got a couple things. We've got a request that's populated with various parameters that we don't necessarily want, and we've got an HTTP method that we don't necessarily still want either, right? So.
Request parameters you can sort of reset, right, or unset, right?
Yeah, you can unset them by setting them to null, which is like really ugly.
No, I know.
But yes,
But you could.
yeah, you could. Yeah, you can hack around it, but the right way to do it is really just a redirect.
What about the method? Can we do something about it? No. Solve it.
I don't know.
Sorry, what was the question?
Is there a way to reset the HTTP method? And I don't think there is, but I'm not sure. I'm actually not sure. That sounds scary.
But then you always need to do a redirect and post them.
Pretty much usually need to do redirect and post.
Right? There's no other way to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Can I get rid of my console? Go away. Go away. Huh. All right. Anyway. Okay. So that should be good. Let's save this stuff. All right. That was a great question. Any more questions? Any other questions? Questions? No. Okay. Cool. Let's take a break. We'll start up again in 10-15 minutes or so. So get some coffee. All right.